let's get right to it. Ward Green. I don't know what to say. Alan Green could call himself, instead of sweetness, he can call himself sleepness. Because he just went in there and went straight to sleep, like, and just taking punches in his sleep. Now, if you overtrain, I understand. But don't lie to the public and try to sell the fight. Then when you get your ass kicked and you quit in 3 rounds, he quit after round 3. The quit was already in his face. And I said, oh man, there it is, he quit. And I said, they don't need me watching this. Let me flip over to the UFC fight and then come back. And I came back and it was the same scenario. Oh yeah, this dude quitting. So don't lie, because all you're doing is cheating the boxing fans. If you felt that you was overtrained and you ain't have it, why get in the ring? Why waste people's time in this tournament? Now you didn't dim the light a little bit off Ward for whooping your ass. And all you did is made Greg Leone flip, because his mailbag has been explode of people like, aha, we told you so. We told you he wasn't shit, so now he's going to have to hear that forever. And now it's like, where does he go? Okay, you overtrained for this fight, and you weighed in at 166. You got another fight coming up. You're in a tournament now. You got to where you wanted to be. Now let's see what you do now that you're there. Because obviously I thought you can beat a lot of these other fighters, but it's obvious that you can't beat Andre Ward, who really beat you at your own game. But moving right along, we deal with Corey Spinks and his situation. Corey Spinks, his problem is, it's not that he's not a good boxer. He is a good boxer. His problem is dedication. He can't dedicate himself to the sport because of all these outside ring distractions with the wife and trainer and just everybody around him. It's his environment. He needs to move out of St. Louis. And then, his career could flourish and turn into something. But right now, Corey Spinks can't even get in shape and make weight to fight K9 Bundrich. I mean, that fight should have been taking place. K9 Bundrich shouldn't have to come out and say, yeah, he's scared to fight me. That should never have to come out of K9 Bundrich's mouth. Then you go from that, and we take that fight and throw that on the back burner. Now we go and move forward to the Juan Diaz situation. Because in case you don't know, a lot of these fighters are getting away from Don King because Don can't really put them on the showcase that they want, and HBO is kind of freezing them out. So HBO has turned into promoters, which they pretty much have done over the past couple of years, so they can say, we don't need these promoters anymore. We don't need the Arams. We don't need the Don Kings. We can kick them to the curb, and we'll just pay the fighters what we want to pay them. But the problem is, HBO don't know how to generate money. You see, these promoters know how to generate money and stay alive in the circuits where they don't. So that's where the problem's going to lie, and they're going to come to a head in about another year or so. You're going to start to see a lot of people headbutting each other. But since Collazo's getting out, and everything is really started, and the war really started basically with the Juan Diaz situation. Main Events had Juan Diaz. Juan Diaz had a good contract with them. It was time for his contract to expire. So he was going to re-sign with somebody. But here comes Golden Boy, and they throwing out a big wad of cash that Main Event can't cover. They can't re-sign him. So if they can't re-sign him, now you got a problem. Because you put all this money into Juan Diaz, building him into a star, and here come the Warbucks coming in to back it up, and they finna come steal him. And it's nothing, Juan could show some loyalty, but then that'll be stupid to go back there for lower money, and they finna pay double what Main Events can afford to pay him. I mean, hell, he was getting a signing bonus of like $500,000. So who wasn't gonna take that? So Golden Boy got outbidded by Don King. Don went into his pockets with Juan Diaz and just said, I gotta have Juan Diaz. He's my piece for this lightweight division because can nobody beat him, he thought. So he went ahead, talked to Willie, and they got a deal. They gave Juan 500,000 signing bonus. And they beat out Golden Boy. After agreeing to sign with Golden Boy, then reneging on the contract and signing with Don King. Let's just say Don King had Juan Diaz. Diaz and them was unhappy and was going to sit out the contract. So he had Juan Diaz work out a deal where he paid back some of the money of the contract so he can get out of the contract, so he can get rid of him. So what he did was he had him fight Nate Campbell and said, okay, after this fight, you gone. So he was already gone pretty much after that fight. He was leaving Don King, but he had to fight Nate Campbell. And Nate beat the brakes off of him. So after Nate beat the brakes off of him, there was no more need for Juan Diaz, and plus he was glad. And then Oscar came and still took him and built him up to where he is now. But with the Oscar's deal, his deal runs out at the end of this year with Golden Boy. That's why you people like, how in the world is Juan Diaz in a pay-per-view fight? Didn't he just really lose his last two? Really, Juan Diaz has been getting his ass whooped since 3 of his last 4 fights. He have not looked good. I'll put it that way. He has not looked good in 3 of his last 4 fights. Okay, he came back after the knockout loss, and then he fought Paulie Malignaggi, and he really lost that fight, and then he lost the other fight after that to Paulie. So he's on the downside, I think, of his career more than on the upside. He's not the Juan Diaz he used to be at 135. Now, at the end of the year, he's done, but it's a guarantee in his contract. He has to fight 8 times. That's why you see Juan Diaz back in the ring so much. You're like, how in the world he back on pay-per-view? Because he owed Golden Boy. He gotta fight. See, Golden Boy had these clauses in their contracts that you have to, be aware of. But yeah, Juan Diaz has to fight. And he has to fight 8 times for Golden Boy. And the contract's up at the end of the year. And I guarantee you, by the end of this year, Juan Diaz probably be done fighting. Karceno, I'm out. We got more to talk about next time. Peace.